Hello and welcome everybody back once again to World of Racing. And tonight we're back for round 3 of the GT3 championship, and my goodness folks, it's getting close. We have a tight championship on our hands right now. Andrew leading at the top currently with 190 points, second in the championship. Dylan looking at 185 beyond that, 160 for Robert, 159 for Kian, and Tim down in 6th right now for 5th, excuse me, for 145 points, tied with Ahmad. We have an exciting one. We have 2 exciting tracks here tonight. One, of course, being near and dear to my heart in Suzuka. I love this circuit, and I cannot wait to see what the drivers have to offer on that track tonight. But we also have, first up, the Charlotte Roval, a circuit that maybe not a lot of people have seen. It has, well, about, what is that? 18 corners, 17 corners here at the Charlotte Roval, and it's a 2.2 mile circuit. That sounds simple on paper, but I assure you, once we get into the action, it is not going to be as simple. Before we get into it though, a massive thank you, of course, to our partner Sigma Interglade for providing all of the lovely motion simulators. If you are down in the SoCal area or in Kansas City, Kansas, if you're either in Tustin or Pasadena County, do head on down. World of Racing, folks, the premier sim center to get your thrills and spills on in real life. And of course, they will be there for coaching if you need it, as well as, of course, just hot lap sessions to full-on coaching, like I said, and then everything in between to race sessions with your friends or race nights, league nights, and everything beyond that here at World of Racing. We thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. I'm Mike Noss. We're going to be getting into it here very, very shortly. Qualifying is underway, folks. So why don't we get down to the action here and take a look, and why don't we talk a little bit of track. Down to the circuit here, we can see Kian currently on a flyer. The times are tight right now. A 1:16.2 is the time to beat, and well, it's just been beaten. Kian up to the top into the 15s. A 15.9 now is the time. Let's see if anyone else has it. Andrew has been extremely consistent, but Kian here, coming off the back of 2 victories, is going to be extremely confident here tonight. And we're looking forward to see what he has. We also have Ahmad here. We'll go on board for the banking here at the Charlotte Roval. Well, I guess this part, not necessarily the Roval. Looks like Ahmad here on a slow lap by the look of things, and not really too intent on pushing here and negotiating the traffic. Set up your lap into the final few corners here. And now we're gonna go flying. On board here with Ahmad for a lap. No time on the board just yet. Let's see what he's got in the tank here. Through the first corner, chuck it around. Now you're getting into the horseshoe section now, turns 3 and 4. This is where, again, overtaking not going to be easy here. You can even see how difficult it's going to have to be. Once you get down this little straight here, thankfully the corners, they have no names, which makes things extremely not confusing. No, said nobody ever. Sweeping right-hander, so sweeping that the car in front crashes. Ahmad has to take avoiding action. He somehow keeps his lap valid, clips the wall though, and I think at this point he is going to be heading maybe not back to the garage, but this lap will be a bit of disappointment for him. He's going to have to try again. In the meantime, Andrew up in a P2. Car tonight, by the way, is the Honda NSX, Acura NSX, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely brilliant piece of machinery. And we get to go to Suzuka. So the home, of course, the home of Honda. So we'll see how well they can perform here. I'm curious what the lap times we're going to see. Of course, very quick lap times that you're going to be expecting from a Formula 1 car at Suzuka. But in GT3s, you're going to look around that 2-minute mark, somewhere in that general vicinity, plus or minus 5 or 6 seconds, depending on what simulator you're in. Of course, I'm speaking from the Assetto Corsa Competizione side of things, where you're looking right around that 2:02 time. And if you're in the 2 minutes, you're pretty dang competitive. Anything below that is almost alien. So, curious. But that's later tonight, folks. Again, don't go anywhere. We have plenty of action tonight. This is just the first qualifying before we get into the actual race session. This is going to be a heat race. We have quite a lot of dramas have happened thus far. Andrew being the talk of the town for Mr. Consistency. However, he has kind of dropped down in the previous race, only scoring, scored 100 points. My apology. I'm looking at the wrong person there. Kian is the one that I'm really, really curious about to see what he can manage here, because he's clearly been putting the work in. But looking at Andrew and Kian neck and neck right now, separated by about 60-something thousandths of a second, 50-something thousandths of a second there. My commentator's math is just that, commentator's math. I wouldn't trust it at the best of times. Tight groupings, though, through the pack. We're seeing the 15s starting to roll in. The 16s are pretty much just going to be Andreas and Lee, but the 17s nice and tight, the 18s as well. But beyond that, of course, we're still looking at quite a few drivers without a lap time and without even coming on to track yet. We're still needing a lap from Tim, Robert, Christopher, and Nick. That Mike, that's myself, just the spectator car here for the night, so I get a little honorable mention out on track, but I assure you, I will be the slowest time in not setting one. Does that count, chat? Does that mean that I didn't set a time? Does that mean I'm not the slowest? Either way, you're only as good as your last race, and, well, my last race wasn't that good, so I think that says a lot. Either way, Andrew, not able to best him just yet, but Kian still on top. Let's see. Andrew in the first sector. He's got a while to go. Michael coming through the loops now and on towards the oval banking. 1.8 seconds up. Not where he wants to find himself. It's such a tricky first sector here. And really all about maximizing that minimum speed. Slow is fast. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me. Why don't we go on board next lap with Kian here? He's going to be quite the quick one. Andrew's a little bit behind. We can go on board with Andreas, actually. He's starting his lap here and just beginning. You can see he's clearly on a banker, taking it nice and slow. Let's get on the... Okay, well... you know, we'll try again with Andrew. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe we'll try with somebody at some point, eventually, as everybody wants to return back to the pit lane. Lee, we have Ryan here cutting the chicane. My goodness. It was like a first grader with safety scissors, not quite following the line, but he managed to make it work. A 17,000. Ryan needs to buy a lottery ticket right after this one. On the back here, though. Whoa, what is happening here? Is that Ryan? No, that's not. That's... My goodness, it's chaos is what it is. It's drivers returning to pit lane. Andrew nip and tuck with Kian right now, and currently getting held up by somebody on a lap. This is a bit dicey, but everything seems to be all good. Now, Kian here. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna lift? Yeah, you are. Okay, well, or... Okay, maybe not. Kian wants to be first on this lap. Andrew needs to back off. He's way too close right now. Once they get to that final chicane, you want a bit of breathing room, or else you're going to get held up by your rival. And when your rival is currently, well, just slightly faster than you and ahead, all Kian theoretically has to do is back off his lap, and well, now Andrew isn't going to be any faster. On board, though, for a lap with Kian, and close in the rearview mirror is Andrew. Down here into the first corner, a long left-hander to straighten it back up, and you're basically constantly turning left here. Now, get ready to constantly turn right. No, it's not NASCAR. I know, it's right-hand turns as well. It's a bit foreign, and whoa, Kian. Well, that's going to be Kian's lap done. Why don't we go resume with Andrew into the next corner that Kian would have been attempting, but didn't quite get the opportunity to. Up into turn 6, now through 7. This is one of the most important corners on the track, and Andrew didn't quite cut it. He nailed it, and not in a good way. That was the wall taking a little bit of a battering, and Andrew eager to return back to circuit there, wasting absolutely no time. Andreas on a flyer to the line here. Nope, just starting a lap. Let's see what it's like here. Whoops. Camera. There we go. Much better. Down here in towards turn 3. We'll get that better onboard camera here. I know we had some complaints about the onboard cameras, but we love a little bit of onboard, don't we, here? A good driver's eye view, and we haven't even been able to do a full lap yet, so we kind of need to. Same story can be said for Tim, Robert, and Christopher and Nick, though. They haven't quite been able to do a full lap themselves. A little offline for Andreas coming into the left-hander here. You have to lift massively. You got to get on the throttle so early. That is, Not quite how you want to do it. Andreas bleeding a little bit of time there. Needs to find something. At this stage, I think he's going to be cutting his losses and having to just improve on the next lap. We'll stick with him, though, down through the bottom chicane here through turns 11 and 12. Onto the accelerator again through the banking of 13 and 14. This would normally be turns 3 and 4. Riding that high on the super speedway. Getting ready to lock it up for what's basically a chicane, but in reality is more of an inconvenience for the driver to the line, and no improvement for Andreas, but still a good perspective there of what this Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval has in store, and its difficulty. That's I think the word of the day here. These drivers are going to struggle, and we're going to enjoy every second of seeing them do that. Kian hasn't been able to improve. Neither has Andrew. They somehow managed to get into the 15s. Both of them have improved on their 15 laps, but since then they've really not found much else. The Roval is a difficult mistress. Which track is the lady in black, chat? Now, hold on. We're Googling. The lady in black. Is this Charlotte? It's Darlington. It's Darlington. Shows what I know. I might be American, but I am not the biggest NASCAR guy, unfortunately. Feel free to yell at me in chat. Oh, he's not American? No, I am American. I'm just tainted. Tainted by the UK and the Brits and the Europeans and everyone else is in between, which is good. We get a little bit of worldly travel, I guess. And of course, Suzuka up next. We get to see that here. And the Hondas around Suzuka, again, I'm going to say that once. I'm going to say it a million times tonight. I can't wait. Genuinely, I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat the entire time. Oh, we got a race on our hands. Kian side by side right now on the banking with Dylan, I think that was, and he's gone. Was that Christopher? Christopher disconnected there. Disconnects. Hopefully we get them back in the server here very, very shortly. 3 minutes left in qualifying. And this, of course, here, this being split 1. I think there's another split going on as we speak. And everybody, of course, the best times will be thrown into the server, and everyone will be racing at their whims. Andrew improving in Sector 2. Can he improve to the line? Yes, he can. He smashes it. 1:15.5, just enough to take the lead over Kian. Trading blows back and forth, but it's a couple of lightweight blows right now, but that's all you need. That's the thing. There isn't much time left to be gained between these two, and every 10th, every 10,000th matters right now. And brilliant lap from Andrew. Can Kian respond? That's the question. And it looks like, yes, 1/10 up for the first sector, making this track almost look easy at this point. Through the banking, not much time to lose here. Just really ride high and get on the accelerator and chill out a little bit. Take a drink of water and get ready to get onto the brakes, sort of, and avoid spinning cars in the chicane. Hopefully that's not going to play a role. 5/10 down for Andrew, or Kian, in Sector 2. I don't know how he lost so much time, considering there's no time to lose in Sector 2. I have a sneaking suspicion that might not be the most correct graphic. We'll see when we come to the line, though. One more chicane. Down onto the brakes. Tight to the curbs. On the loud pedal into the line. It's a 1:16.4. That is not a great lap from Kian, unfortunately. It's not bad, but not quite where he wants to be right now. Ryan, able to improve? No, not quite. He's sticking at that 1:17.000, and again, buy a lottery ticket. That is a rarity that you see it down to the 100,000th of a second. For reference, folks, the blink of an eye is 0.2. That's 0.2 of a second. And to be fair, a lot can happen in the blink of an eye. Let's not, dismiss that. One thing that can happen in the blink of an eye is light can travel about 46,000 miles in a vacuum. Light's pretty fast. So is Andrew. Currently quickest and improving. Can he get it? enough, though, through. There's a car to the inside that shouldn't play any role. Very nice, generous back marker, if you want to call it that. I guess at this stage, there's no back markers, no front markers. Everybody is just trying to qualify, find some space. We're looking at about a 0.2 improvement here coming into Sector 3, and with only one more corner to go, there's not much time to lose. Andrew just needs to nail this, and he will pretty much secure himself pole position, I think, with this lap. Kian will have a heck of a time to respond if he can manage it, but Andrew overcooked it. But was that a good thing? He carried all of his momentum and maybe then some to the line, and it was enough for a 15.2. Lovely lap, and 0.4 needs to be found for Kian, and he's currently stuck behind a car. That is a recipe for no improvement, no doubt. Andreas to the line, P3, not a bad showing whatsoever. Andreas seems to be back. He had a couple rough races, but it looks like the consistency seems to be returning here. Lee, next to the line here, or number 9 is Donovan. No, Donovan is not. We're going to stick with Ryan. We're going to stick with Dylan. No, my goodness, where the heck did they go? Lee to the line, currently 4th, stays 4th fastest. Kian into pit lane, very, very stylishly, you might say. Chan Young not having the greatest time out there. Nicholas, not really either. Chan Young, P6, nothing to shake a stick at, but a 21-second improvement, or 21-second improvement would be massive. 21 seconds down on your lap time, not where you want to be. To the line, we saw Nicholas there, 1:17.6, no improvements. And last to the line, Chan Young. Doesn't even make it. That's qualifying over. We now have Andrew, pole sitter for tonight. Kian lined up alongside Andreas in 3rd. Lee bringing up 4th with Ryan in 5th. Chan Young 6th, 7th, belonging here to Dylan. Nicholas in P8. Donovan 9th. Ahmad rounding out your top 10. Michael in 11th. Tim G in 12th, one of the fan favorites. William in P13. Myself, not really, in 14th. Tim will be in 14th. And that is not Tim G. That is Tim, the Tim G imposter. No. Didn't work. Worth a shot. C-Trade, let's go Andreas. Let's go indeed. P3 finish for him. Not too bad, not too shabby, some might say. The Acuro Evo 2, otherwise known as the Acura Honda NSX. Here we go, folks. 6 red lights are on. 18 minutes on the clock for race 1. The moment the drivers have been waiting for. The countdown is on. And Andrew is away. Kian crawling to the outside there immediately. They have to turn left and right. This is going to cause havoc for the background here as everybody's going to concertina up. Getting going pretty well, though, is the rest of the pack. We see a couple movers. We see a couple shakers. Lee staying where he was, though, in 5th. Ryan in 4th. Everybody, the timing charts, nobody knows where anybody is right now on the timing charts. Let's just be clear here. But battle for the lead, as we're going to be seeing here, this is for, oh goodness, Kian trying to make moves right now on to, wait, Kian is going backwards. What is happening to Kian? Currently, Andrew is pulling away. Battling with Andreas right now is Kian. Michael is not in the lead of this race, I don't think. No, he's in the back of this race, in fact. Andrew leads at the end of lap 1. Behind him, Andreas in P2, Kian in 3rd. Don't let those timing charts lie to you, folks. Great start for Andreas here, gaining the position early and putting Kian behind. Ryan has fallen off the back pretty early here in the Rockets, number 70. Back on the loud pedal around the banking, and he has Lee to contend with for about 5/10. Behind that, we see 2x2 Noah's Ark formation between Ahmad and Nicholas. Nicholas needs to be so cautious getting onto the brakes here. He is. I hear a car spun around. That's Kian. Kian and Andreas have come together. This is absolutely massive for the championship prospects. Our leader is in the pit lane. Andreas is, or excuse me, our second place runner doing quite well. Kian who was our previous race winner, now back to the lane. He's sitting 5th in the standings. He's going to be down quite a bit. Andreas, a gutting way to begin. But that's racing, folks, and them's the breaks. Lee and Dylan side by side. Dylan 2nd in the championship. Now, 2nd on track, not quite. 3rd on track. Andrew, 1st in the championship, 1st on track. That is as it should be for him. Ryan, though, doing an incredible job keeping his nose out of trouble and staying clean. Look at that. He's on the 2nd step of the podium right now. Dylan behind Lee, bringing up 4th. Donovan in 5th. Chan Young with a great run. So great of a run that he hits the wall and decides to get rid of all of that momentum. Ahmad behind and out of that slipstream. That's going to be crucial. You need to stay within pretty much 4/10, 5/10 of the car in front if you want the hole to be punched in the air ahead of you. What the heck? Every time I turn the camera away, something happens. There's a kerfuffle and a half right now. Chan Young and Nicholas side by side around the banking. Somebody's going to have to give before we get to the braking zone, and more than likely, it's going to have to be Chan Young. Andrew, fastest lap of a 1:15.7. Goodness me, Ahmad outbrakes himself, clatters the wall. Chan Young avoids the contact, also gets the position. Nicholas not able to defend. He got caught looking pretty much is what it looks like. There's Ryan. He's now back into 5th and struggling with traction. So much for the 2nd. It was a good effort up until then. He's trying to go back, though. He's not done. Oh, he is not done. He's a hungry hippo right now. Ryan looking to take a bite potentially out of Lee's bumper. You got to be careful not to collect too much as you almost get taken out by Chan Young. Ryan keeps it under control, milks the cow, and somehow saves the car. Incredible effort. The problem this is allowing our leader Dylan, or our leaders Dylan and Andrew, to really just pull away. Oh no! Down into the braking zone. Chan Young has gone in too deep, and his best sum 41 impression yet has caused him to face the incorrect direction. Nicholas, thankfully, gets away without issue. Chan Young rejoining the circuit. I think he got away with that safely. Back to the battle. Oh, goodness. Nicholas almost finds himself doing a bit of a repeat there of what we just saw. Now, side by side with Ahmad, he gets that job done fairly easily, moves up into 6th. Whilst this is happening, I'm going to take a second here to breathe, because my goodness, eventful racing is eventful racing. Lee currently chasing down Donovan, Ryan chasing down Lee, Ahmad falling off a little bit, and he's currently having to contend with his rearview mirror. Nicholas being a bit of a thorn in the side, and speaking of thorns in the side, well, there was a barrier in the side of Nicholas briefly. That's not going to cause too much issue, at least it shouldn't. Damage being reduced here. An update on Kian, still in pit lane. An update on Andreas, up into 8th. Our fans in chat, our lovely, lovely audience that is cheering on Andreas in the number 30 Honda NSX, Acuro NSX, Acuro Evo 2, whatever. Ryan round, and in the final chicane, no, in the first chicane, this is a tricky corner. You can see drivers trying to push the limits, and they're pushing them a little too much. Donovan, oh, let's go on board with Donovan here. Get a great little view as he hunts down the bottom step of the podium. Lee looking like a tasty morsel right now as we look to the outside to try to switch back up to the inside. Holy curb and a spine buster right there. Andreas just set the fastest lap of the server of the race session, 1:15.5. Donovan on the back of Lee. This is not the time to overtake. This is the time to gain. Really use this chance here. Gain up to the car behind and slingshot yourself onto the back banking. Great line here from Donovan. You got to be so early on the accelerator. Maybe a little too early on the accelerator on that occasion. Had to have a big, big lift, and look at that. Lee, he got that corner a little bit better because he has just sailed away into the sunset. One of the other fan favorites, Tim G. Look at that. Number 44, out on track. The Lewis Hamilton fan, I guess. I don't know. There's number 44. Love to see it. Michael, under pressure. Nicholas and Andreas swapping positions. What just happened here? Andreas losing a position to Nicholas. I have to keep a close eye on that. Andreas should have superior pace. And I'm wondering if damage playing a role. Did he hit something? I don't see any real strife or improper car body language. Everything looks to be in ship shape condition. And he's gaining. He's gaining and gaining. Is he going to be gone on this lap? I think so. Andreas, look at how confident he is coming through the first sector. On to the back bumper. There was nearly 5/10 separating them. Now there's nearly 5/10 thousandths separating them. Nicholas has a new bumper, and it's Andreas. On to the back stretch. Again, Andreas losing out significantly. He's gaining where he doesn't need to, and he's losing out where he needs to gain. He'll figure it out. Andreas is more than capable of doing so, but certainly not quite the clockwork routine that you're looking for at this stage in the race. 9 minutes left to go. Kind of got to get a hurry up. 7 positions or 6 positions ahead of him. I mean, Dylan and Andrew at this point are well out of the conversation. Dylan is 16 seconds behind Andrew right now, who is currently on a Sunday cruise, and it's a Thursday. It is a Thursday. Yes, I had to double check myself on that one. Dylan, doing a good job, though, being consistent, I was going to say. We'll just take the camera immediately off of Dylan before our commentators curse him into oblivion. He almost lost the car right there. The back end looking very detached from the circuit. Lee, well, he is currently attached to his, well, vision right now. He needs to be looking at the road ahead of him because Donovan is 1.4 seconds back and not gaining, but not going away. Swapping positions from Andreas. Oh, no, not again. I think there's a little bit of red being seen in the visor right now of Andreas, and it's not just those red and white sausage curbs. It is going to be pure anger. Now Michael getting by. Andreas should gain that position back, but he will have damage. Let's take a look. Let's go on board here and see. I don't know if I can see the wheel. There we go. We can see the wheel. Well, he's turning left, so the wheel is facing left. Getting down onto the straightaway. Looks to be okay. Onto the brakes. Nothing shaking around too much. The minimal damage helping him out a lot here. Andreas is going to get a much better run than Michael, and this should be a textbook move if he can just get the slipstream. Why? Okay. Something seems to be wrong with Andreas's car. I don't know what it is, but something is up there. He's definitely not driving a showroom-ready Honda, Acura, Acuro, whatever you want to call it. Ryan, 1 second back. The gaps have started to spread out a little bit. And looking to thin out the gaps is Andreas as Michael runs a country mile almost off the circuit, but thankfully there was a barrier there, and well, thankfully for him, he didn't hit it. A near scare, though, but it's just that, a scare. Oh my, Andreas putting on his mask of intimidation, trying to go for the inside, then the out. Switch back to the back line here, catch that slipstream and get on the loud pedal. This is the way you do it here at Charlotte Roval. Get her done into the braking zone of the chicane. On to the inside. Is Michael going to fight this? I don't think he... Well, he's on the racing line. He should be able to defend, but Andreas sees that barn door and says, I am going to open the stables up and try to go on through. Unfortunately, the only stable door that he has opened up is his own, because right behind him... Is that Andrew? No, who is that? It's not Tim G. Is it Kian? Oh, that's Kian. Ay, ay, ay. Well, Kian, got to give him some credit here. He's back out on track. He's going to take that checkered flag. You love to see it. He's 6 laps down, though. So he's not going to be doing much. But he's going to be hot lapping and having a good time. You love to see that. Dylan round. No! Was there contact? I doubt it. The gaps were quite far ahead, but Ahmad has now gained a position up into 4th. Nicholas 5th, Ryan 6th. Dylan, though, oh, you hate to see it. Dylan was, wait, he was in 2nd. This puts Lee up into 2nd, Donovan into 3rd. Down into the final 7 minutes. Dylan is sitting 2nd in the championship, and he needed these points. That was so important for him to have a good result tonight. He still can. He's 4 seconds, though, off the back of Ryan, but Ryan is in this pack of cars. There's 3 positions to be had for free right now if Dylan can catch, and that's a big if. 5 minutes left to go. He needs to gain over a second a lap, and I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Ryan, though, seeing this battling ahead, is going to open his eyes wide open. Oh, goodness, it's not open wide enough. He was squinting there briefly because he runs into the back bumper of Nicholas. Thankfully, that is what bumpers are for. They are made to take a little bit of beating, but those diffusers are not. You got to be so cautious. Diffusers, splitters up front, of course, playing most of the downforce down to the inside of 6 and 7. Not really where you want to be. Nicholas sweating like a cow in a burger joint right now as Ryan is looking every which way to get this move done, and he's looking too aggressive. Clatters the barrier as a result. Gotta say, I don't want to say I saw that one coming. I didn't. I just don't. It's not unexpected. Let's just say that. He pushed a little bit too hard, and that was a bit of a tail wagging the dog moment, and it just got round. Nicholas, though, is being held up by Ahmad, so this should allow Ryan back in it. He'll get a second chance. Question is he going to look a gift horse in the mouth this time? Whoa, big lockup from Ahmad. Oh, and that scares Nicholas offline almost, or he really has to overreact. They're lapping in the 18s right now, which is nowhere near their qualifying pace. So much more time to gain. Look at that bump, too, on the end of that first corner. That is the transition from the banking to the actual roval. Even in Daytona, for anyone who's driven Daytona, no! Nicholas drops it on the curb all on his lonesome. A beautiful pirouette to get back going, though. Not much time lost, all things considered. Ryan here counts his lucky stars and says, well, I'll take it. Ahmad, though, 2 seconds up the way, it's going to be tough to catch him now. That definitely played a bit of a hindrance. Oh, and Andreas's day goes from worse to just abysmal. Tim G, behind. We haven't really talked too much about Tim G. He's just been hot lapping. I think he's been struggling a little bit here at Charlotte. A 127 on the previous lap. He's getting it done, but just really trying to find his groove, that rhythm. It's hard to find on these roval tracks. You can see they're very flat. They're very not trivial when it comes to the corner layouts. And yeah, we'll see. I'm sure Tim will have a little bit better luck at Suzuka. Donovan has crashed. Oh my goodness. How the cookie crumbles, folks. Donovan dropping down into 6th. Lee says, thank you very much. I have done absolutely nothing to deserve this P2 except for drive consistently, and that's all I needed to do. Lee, incredible race so far. Mr. Consistent. I know that title really does belong to Ahmad. I gave it to Ahmad in one of the first races, and he genuinely is showing it here. Not the quickest on track by any means, but he's still in 3rd. He's plugging away, and he's making the best of his situation. And really, look at that. That's all you can ask for. A podium here tonight is going to be insane. Ahmad will be thrilled to be up there. I think this might be one of his best results here so far. He had 80 points scored in round 1, and he had 65 scored in round 2. Currently sitting at 145 points, tied with Tim H, who is Tim, who is no longer in this race. What happened to Tim? Imposter Tim has left. I see we have some cheers in chat for Nico. Mr. Nicholas. P5. Welcome, Jose. Thank you for joining us here on the World of Racing YouTube channel. If you guys are enjoying this broadcast, by the way, do hit that subscribe button. It's free here on YouTube, and that like button while you're down there helps the algorithm out and gets the word out to more folks. And a nice reminder here, folks, we are getting ready to get on to the last lap. If you guys are in the area of Tustin, Pasadena, or Kansas City, Kansas, and you're looking to get some Premier Sim racing in on some Sigma Interglade motion simulators, head on down. World of Racing. Head on over to their website, check out their rates, check out the packages they have. There's so many good deals. Oh, goodness. Holy smokes. Ahmad, that was one of the worst rejoins I've seen in a long time. I'm sorry to call you out, Ahmad. It's just the honest, brutal truth. Donovan, who has now faced a spin, battling for Ahmad, who would have been for the podium at one point. Now it's just for the scraps of P5. Andrew, leading every lap thus far and leading the final one as well. Incredible job here from Andrew. Lee, again, just putting in the work that he needs and not spinning. It turns out when you're on the Charlotte Roval at World of Racing, you just need to not crash and you'll finish well. If you crash, you might not finish well. Knock your cough Kian. Kian, though, looking for a better result, of course, in the next race. We know he's a race winner. And he has the capability of it. Putting his money where his mouth is in the last session, and Andrew, well, he's doing it again. Well, as he comes down the banking and into the final chicane through turn 16 and 17, he'll get on to the accelerator for the final time at Charlotte and take the checkered flag for round 3 of World of Racing GT3 League. Lee, 30 seconds back. But that's still second position. It doesn't matter how far away you were. It just matters that you got there in the end. And Lee, is this his first podium? Hold on here. Lee sitting at 66.67 points at 133. This is going to be his best result by far. Incredible drive here. Takes the checkered flag and is gonna be just smiling from ear to ear. Ryan, who went down the order, back up the order, down the order, back up the order, third place finish despite all of the trials, the tribulations, and the dramas. A nice podium finish will be welcome. Nico down in P4 with Donovan behind in 5th. He couldn't get it done at the end. Ahmad in 6th. Chan Young takes home P7. Dylan in 8th with Michael in 9th. Andreas, unfortunately, rounding out our top 10 as they had it coming together with Kian early on in lap 1. Tim G taking home P11. William in P12 and Kian last, but certainly not least. Wow, folks, what a race. What a brilliant session. We're going to go back here to the host cams. Welcome back, folks. As you can hear in the background, a little bit of car noise. Of course, now you can hear the lovely, lovely music. Wait, that's the intro music. I played the wrong song. Where's my other music? There we go. Some lovely beats by Chris Lorande, for anyone curious. Lorande_alpha on SoundCloud. Do go and check him out if you guys do love some sort of lo-fi not hip-hop, lo-fi beats, as well as some other sort of electronic. He's got some really good stuff, all sorts of different stuff. Go check him out. He's you'll be hearing from him very shortly, as I have to get out of the session before everything crashes. Okay, we're good. Andrew finishing in P1, Lee in 2nd, Ryan in 3rd. A brilliant battle at the start, I have to say, an absolute melee from the word go. Towards the middle, of course, things slowed down as they often do in the race sessions, but we'll see. Suzuka, this is going to be a tough track to overtake on. It's going to be an important qualifying session. The drivers are going to be on their best behaviors through the first quarter. As we all know, it can happen almost immediately. No, either way. Q Murray Walker-isms and whatnot. No, folks, don't go anywhere. We are going to be back very, very shortly, as we are going to take a little intermission. Once we return, we will be back for some Suzuka GT3's Honda NSX at Suzuka. You don't want to miss it, folks. We'll be back very shortly. And welcome back, folks, to World of Racing. We're getting ready to jump into the second race of round 3 here tonight and getting down to the Suzuka International Circuit. I cannot wait. I love this track. It's one of my all-time favorites, designed by the legendary John Hugenholtz. It's a classic. One of the only figure 8 tracks on the only figure 8 track on the Formula 1 calendar and GT calendar. Not many figure 8 tracks out there, so you get to see a little bit of everybody. And of course, you always get to see that. But the biggest thing here for Suzuka is it's difficult to overtake. This is one of the tricky tracks to get by on, the Casio Triangle being a good opportunity to make moves. If you're really bold, you can do it through Spoon, but you're probably not going to. The first corner, yeah, if you got a good enough run, you can make it happen. It's tough, though. It's difficult once you get into the S's, through the Degnas. The Dunlop hairpin, you can also make sends, but the problem is that wide line falls off at the end of the corner, and you can take that switchback line, but you're always going to end up on the same piece of tarmac that the other person is, and if they're ahead, well, they're going to get there before you. So, overtaking there tends to not be the simplest, but, of course, we're going to have to see some overtaking. It's going to happen on every part of the track. We saw chaos, carnage, and a lot of mistakes in the previous race, and I do expect those to translate over to a track like Suzuka. It's not much different. We had Andrew, Lee, and Ryan, our top 3 in the previous race. Donovan just sneaking into 5th, Nicholas in 4th position. So we'll see how they can contend on a track like Suzuka. It is much different than the Charlotte Roval. They could not be any less similar, to be completely honest. I don't think you could have picked 2 different tracks here tonight, which is going to be a real challenge for the drivers. So they're going to have a completely new experience, a lot more difference when it comes to the corners of elevation on this track, and everything in between. So folks, why don't I quit blabbing on, and why don't we get down onto the track and into the action. Down onto the circuit here of Suzuka. You get to see here once we come through the S's potentially, as we can see just in the background, look at that, the Ferris wheel. That is, of course, the giant Ferris wheel they have here at the Motopia. It is a amusement park themed around motorsports and has various rides, including karting, has giant Ferris wheels, has racing simulators, and more. It's a theme park. You do a little bit of everything. Very, very cool. Right next to the Suzuka circuit, of course, owned by Honda nowadays. This track, though, as I mentioned, designed by Hugenholtz, it was designed back in the 1960s and a test track for Honda. So we're going to test these drivers out with the Honda NSX, and a 2012. Wow, not far off of what we would expect from the regular times in these cars, to be completely honest. ACC, you're looking right around that 2-minute mark. That 2-minute 1 mark is quite a good pace. We're currently just taking a look here at Ignacio as we go on board with them for the rest of this lap on the run down towards 130R. The left-hander to set yourself up into the Casio Triangle. A great chance to send it. Maybe not the best chance to send it if your name is Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna, of course, for anyone that remembers that back in 1990. Oof. Chat, help me on that one. 1990 that one happened, and then 1989 was the first corner incident. They were back-to-back, and I think the first corner incident happened first. Or did the triangle happen in 89 and the first corner happened in 90? I'm going off memory here. What I do know is that Ignacio just set a pretty decent lap there at 202.2. Lots of 2s. Nicholas plays a little too far behind right now, 206. Improving, though, in Sector 2, but not so in Sector 3. Michael with a brilliant lap there, 205. Tim also sneaking up there at a 203. You can tell the drivers that didn't necessarily get along with the Charlotte Roval track, and you can tell the drivers that are used to your more traditional circuits. I think Tim, he might be used to the more traditional circuits, judging by the lap time that we see here on his first lap, too. I don't even think we saw him set a lap in the qualifying for the Charlotte Roval, and with a DNF as well. So, Kian, look at that. 3rd position. Not a bad way to start your qualifying out. I know he wants more, of course, but you got to start somewhere. Get that crucial banker lap, as Paul Jeffrey would say. Ignacio, though, a name that I don't recognize. To be completely honest, I don't think they were even in the first race. If they were, I apologize. I didn't catch them. I don't think they were, though. So Ignacio, out on circuit. Dylan just cresting over him with a 201.7. Andrew with a 201.2. Nobody improving just yet. Why don't we go on board with Andrew, as it looks like he is going to be, he's on a flyer right now, and he's going to be the next one to the line, or is Tim G. Tim G is not whoever this is. It's other Tim. Okay, imposter Tim, quite literally on this occasion. Improving. 2/10 up, 2/10 up. Let's see, does he got another 2 for Sector 3 here? This would be a brilliant little lap. Put him up into 5th if he is going to be so wise. In fact, it's going to be enough for 3rd. Wow. Look at that, a 202.1. Let's go with Andrew now as he sets another fastest lap, and we'll go on board down into the braking zone of the first corner, getting into 2nd gear for the exit. You're going to short shift to 3rd here for the traction. Maybe not in this car. I guess you don't need to short shift to 3rd in this car. Fair enough. Now, into the S's. This is what separates the men from the boys, to be completely honest. Look at that. Left, right, right again. And this is the most important corner here coming up. If you mess this one up, you mess 3 corners up subsequently after that. Light onto the accelerator, Andrew. You can hear the hesitation, just trying to feather the accelerator on like there's an egg underneath the pedal. Now into the Degna, chuck it in 3rd gear, down into the braking zone, down into 2nd, back onto the accelerator, and accelerate out of the 2nd Degna. A little late there, but good improvement. 8 thousandths or 80 thousandths of a second. Now, wide line into the Dunlop hairpin. That's not quite where you want to position yourself at the apex. Missed it by a hairline fraction, and looks like they lost a little bit of time as a result. Now, Andrew down about what they gained in the first sector. Into the spoon corner. This is going to be crucial after 200R. It's all about maximizing your minimum speed. How early can you get on the accelerator, because you're going to be on it for a while, and it was quite early. That was a great line there from Andrew. He'll be gaining some time here. Cut to the inside, run back wide for 130R now, where you have to just get ready to lick the stamp and send it. There's no car there to send it on, but you gotta send it. Lift of the throttle, a little bit deep there. The car wanting to understeer off down into the braking zone at the 100 board. Right-hander into the Casio. Missed the apex by a little bit there. Missed the apex again because, well, you missed the first one. A little wiggle on the exit. Andrew maybe not gaining much time in Sector 3. Let's see as we come to the line. And yeah, that Sector 3 was terrible. Sorry, Andrew. Not bad, just, you know, for his standards. Ignacio, P2. Look at that, 209, 200.9. Did I say 206 for Andrew? 2006 is what I meant. If I did, I don't know if I did. Keegan's improving. He's got a bit of time to find, though. About a second, in fact. 2/10. No, 2.5 tenths. I ain't gonna cut it. Sector 3, though, is where you can gain a lot into the Casio track. Wow, wait, hold on. Where are... wow, they call Sector 2 very late. Fair enough. Sector 3, and then not much time to gain because it's really only one corner. So seeing now into... I don't believe the AC timing. We'll see when he comes to the line. It's a 201.7. It's saying he's improving by 2.5 tenths. I don't buy it. He improves by a lot more than that. In fact, he improves by nearly a second. Look at that. Brilliant little lap time there. Kean, 2:00.8. Lap times are getting close at the top. Dylan needs to find a little bit more. We'll ride along with him here. Go on board for a couple corners into Spoon. Oh, he's deep. Oh, he's deep. No, he's getting it stopped in time. I'm not quite used to these lines here in AC. I think that's one of my biggest faults as a commentator. I thought he was offline. That actually looked quite good. My mistake. He got a stellar exit. Look at that delta come down as he's accelerating towards 130R now, gaining about 2/10 of a second. So shows what I know. Left-hander, chuck it in, understeer city. You gotta keep your lap valid. Didn't improve there. Onto the brakes, late into the Casio triangle. You really want to clip that inside corner to try, or inside curb, because you need to maximize your track, and that looked invalid maybe. Keeps it though, I think, fairly valid. 7/10 improvement. This should be a time improvement, but no position, and it is indeed 201.003. Chan Young. No, not looking too good there. 9 seconds up in Sector 1. Definitely not going to be a pole lap. Andreas, similar story. Tim, what do you got for us? Coming into the S's. Let's see, who's next to the line? Next to the line is going to be Tim G? Yes. Currently, down about 7/10. Little wide. I think that is the line, though, through the 130R. Regardless of how wide it looks, I think it is proper. And back on the loud pedal into the line. Tim G sitting 10th, and he finds himself with a 2:03.3. Still 10th. Not a bad lap, though. Ignacio, did I just see him crawl up the ranks into 3rd? I think I might have, or that was Dylan, actually. I think that just set their lap into 4th at 2. No, they had a 2:01.3. No, that was Ignacio. It was Ignacio. I'm not crazy. Nicholas. Oh my goodness, what a save. Not going to help his lap time at all, but it was a very impressive maneuver and a display of car control, no doubt. This is not where you want to be. No, that's really, really not where you want to be. Ahmad taking a bit of a shortcut. No comment. To the line, obviously invalid. Yeah. The Ayrton Senna line, I guess you could call it. 7 minutes to go in this qualifying. Andrew, not looking so unstoppable. Only a 2/10 gap, and really only 3/10 between him and Ignacio, and then Dylan only 4. It's really close in our top 4 for the most part, down into Nicholas, 8/10 separating there. So Nicholas has a little bit of work to do, but he needs to keep it valid. You're seeing him go a bit deep. He's trying to push the limits now. You love to see that, by the way. That's the way that you should approach qualifying. Nicholas doing it right. You get behind the wheel, you try to incrementally improve. You set a banker lap, you improve on your banker lap, and then you give it everything that you've got and see if you can throw it at the wall and does it stick. Unfortunately for Nicholas, he threw it at the wall. It didn't stick, but neither did his car. He hit the wall at a certain point, I think, or at least went deep. So this lap, pretty much thrown away. Dylan's also thrown away. But now Nicholas can begin the real trial. Let's go on board. Can we find 8/10 to improve over Dylan? Can we find 9/10 to find ourselves on the podium? It all starts here, into the first corner. We got a great run out of the exit. Onto the brakes, nice and tidy on the racing line. Got to tighten it back up, though. Oh, he tightened it up a little too much, unfortunately. Caused a snap of oversteer, and Nicholas's lap is almost over before it begun. He still has the time to go. It's going to be a long way back around, though, 3.6 miles till he gets to it. He can still improve. It's not off the cards. That was only maybe a 10th or 2 loss. It could have been so much worse, but he has to be perfect the entirety of this lap. He cannot place his car wrong. Into the first Degna here. Got to be on the limit. Let's go on board once more. He is on the limit. Great line into 3rd, down into 2nd now for the 2nd Degna. Good rotation, but there's okay. No, we're good. Car briefly parked there, just scared. They're taking the grass line. Why not? Down into 2nd for the Dunlop hairpin. A little offline. A little offline is an understatement. Through 200R. And towards Spoon Curve. A 10th improvement in Sector 1, but he threw a lot of that away in Sector 2. I need to remember that I can look at the dash and see their delta. That's not something I'm used to in ACC. Spoon, deep, but able to carry speed. That's not the worst line. Oh, that's not far off. All right, Nicholas, I'll take the camera off you. I see how it is. It's somebody who's maybe not quite a little camera shy. I'll let Nicholas do his lap in peace. And we'll keep an eye on Tim here. Still no improvements at the top. I'm actually shocked. C-Trade. I was fortunate to visit World of Racing the other day, and man, it was awesome. Anyone can go there and have fun. It's pretty cool. I love to hear that, C-Trade. What'd you do? What were you doing when you were there? Did you do some hot laps? Did you do some race sessions? Of course, World of Racing offering everything from hot laps to race sessions to full-on coaching. If you guys are down in Tustin, Pasadena, or Kansas City, also, what location did you go to? That's another great question. But of course, those 3 locations as of right now. More to come, question mark? Look forward to the future. That's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna say anything else. Tim! Looking good. I mean, looking even right now. Nothing to shake a stick at. A dead even improvement on Suzuka. There's quite a lot of time to lose. There's still a bit of time to gain, though. That's the problem for Tim, and look at that. He's found a little bit of it. Into Sector 3 now. Just one more sequence of corners to go. Through 130 arc. Down into the braking zone of the triangle. Gotta be so pixel perfect here. This has to be good. If it is... oh, we're looking solid. Tim on the loud pedal, heading to the line. Nicholas is looking like a tasty morsel. Are we going to see Dylan get overtaken? Tim had a great Sector 3. It's going to be a 2:01.3. Just enough to crest Nicholas, not enough to crest Dylan. Nice lap, though, put together here from Tim, and he's still got 2 more if he wants it. But the problem is going to be tires at this point. They're going to be worn down. Maybe not to the nubs, or down to the metal, as I think tire wear is reduced in these sessions, but still, going to be playing a role. Fuel getting lower, though, so that will increase the speed. As fuel gets less, there's less weight on the tires, which means less wear. More a problem, though, for some other circuits. Suzuka, whilst it might be a fairly high tire wear circuit, it has 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, which is fairly even. All of the other thing is the corners, they're left, right, so you're able to balance the wear on your tires more than, say, Charlotte, where your upper tires are going to get worn a little bit more than your lowers, for example, or your left tires are going to get worn less. Here, you're going to have even wear, which is going to be really good for balance throughout the entirety of the race. Car is going to feel a lot more planted, a lot more stable, which means you're going to be a lot more confident behind the wheel and able to push just that much harder. You don't get to see that at all tracks. So Suzuka, again, just designed brilliantly. John Hugenholtz, absolute track designing legend, knows what he's doing, and he designed an incredible track, as he always does. One other fun fact about this track, or about this region in general, of course, this is in the Mei Prefecture, Suzuka located here, and if you are an avid motorsport fan and just so happen to be into the aviafauna of the area as well, you'll be happy to know that you can find about 300 bird species depending on what season you are, and as well as about 5,600 various plant species, including the Japanese cedar, all the way to the, of course, famous Japanese cherry blossom, the sakura, which blooms here as well. A lovely, lovely area. Of course, Japan, just absolutely beautiful. I'd love to go one day. If anyone here from Suzuka is watching, you're probably not, but if you are, hey, shout out to you. I'd love to go. But some birds that you can find some black kites, you can find some Eurasian skylarks, great egrets, as well as the Japanese bush warbler. Some absolute classics. And of course, various migratory species. Trade. Got to go to Pasadena and did the track day package with some awesome practice and a couple of races. It was a blast. Told some of my buddies to give it a try. That's what we love to hear, C-Trade. And also, massive thank you for tuning into the World of Racing stream here. Shout out to everyone, wherever you are in this fine world, whether you are in North America, if you're down by Pasadena City, or if you're anywhere else in this warm world. I hope you're having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, and we thank you for tuning in here, whether you're watching the VOD afterwards or you're watching it live here on World of Racing. Do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You guys make this possible here. Of course, we do it for you, and we do it for the drivers, and we thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart, and I genuinely do mean that extremely sincerely. You guys are amazing. So are the drivers. Andreas! Holy cow! Wait, what the heck? I'm blind! Andreas on pole position? I was too busy rambling. Andrew, up a 10th into Sector 2, though. Let's see, what's he gonna be gaining even more into Sector 3? Here we go. Are we going to see any sort of improvement? Andrew has to find a 10th. That's it. It sounds like a little bit. It is just a little bit. It's less than the blink of an eye, but he has to find it over 2.3 miles here. That's not right. It's 3.6 miles here. to the line, taking it as tight as possible. Andrew takes pole position by a 10th himself. He cracks back and responds with the whip. Dylan, a little bit further down than he would like right now, but he's got one last good attempt here. We'll check in with him a little later as he will be the final driver to settle out. Assuming he actually even gets to the line. I'm not sure he's going to get there in time. Chan Young, not going to be improving, I don't think. Takes the wide line, the defeated line to the checkered flag, unfortunately, and Chan Young will be sitting in 8th position at best, unless Ryan has anything to say about it. Let's see. I'm now just noticing that that green is a plus. Is he up us? Is he? Anyways, I think he's actually not gaining time. I think we'll find out when we get to the line here again. I should know this by now, but I don't. Onto the loud pedal. 3 minutes, 4 minutes in counting? That doesn't make any sense. Well, qualifying over. That is going to do it for the first quali, or the second quali session tonight. My goodness, the stream is flying by. Time flies when you're having fun. Andrew, pole position once again. Andreas in second. Kian in third. The two rivals, Andreas and Kian, side by side. Well, let's hope there was no love lost between the two of them in the contact they had in lap 1, because they are going to be bitter rivals by the end of this. Ignacio, one of the new names and faces here into World of Racing, sitting in 4th. Dylan in 5th. Tim in 6th. Nicholas 7th. Chan Young 8th. Ryan 9th. Tim G in 10th. Michael in 11th. Ahmad 12th. Lee 13th. William 14th. And the lights are on and counting, and the green flag is in the air as we go green, green, green for round 3 of Suzuka here at World of Racing. Andreas got a terrible start. Andrew under threat from, I think that's Kian in the background now, trying to find some form of advantage. And Andrew, though, holding on and holding fast. Andreas down into second. He did manage to keep the position. Behind him, Kian licking his lips at a potential opportunity. No. Sector 1 done here for him. Side by side between Tim and Ryan, though. Into the S's. Somebody has to back out, and it looks like Tim is going to be the one to do so. Ryan gets by into 6th. So far, so good. A brilliant start here. No restart required. Oh my goodness, as I jinx the field. Ryan slipping, sliding like a dog on a freshly hardwood finished floor. And he's round in 14th. Tim continuing the equation in ball here. Right onto the back of Ignacio, who fell down a position. Dylan up into 4th now. Andreas sitting in 3rd as he got overtaken by Kian. Oh, and a bump in the rump. Andreas misjudges his braking zone. Collects nobody. Somehow he doesn't collect anybody but himself. A completely unforced error there right into the back of Kian. Kian, to be fair, when Armageddon strikes, I want to be made out of this man's face, or maybe I want to be made out of this man's rear end. I don't know. Leave that one up for interpretation. But my gosh, he is built like a brick house. Andrew, though, is Mr. Consistent. He is gone at this point and already trying to check out into next week's race. Ignacio, great run on towards Dylan here. Are we going to see the move? The cameraman inspecting the audience. You can see the crowd was frozen with excitement as we go 3 wide. Nicholas, Chan Young, Tim, all trying to scrap, squabble, and go for it, and it's going to be Tim who outbreaks themselves into the triangle, rejoins there ahead of Tim G. It's bitter rivals between the two. Who is the superior Tim? Tim G or Tim H? Wow, they're right next to each other in the alphabet, too. You couldn't have planned this, folks, if you tried. Dylan, still chasing on to Kian. Ignacio in 4th with Chan Young in 5th right now. Nicholas 6th quickest, and Tim G and Tim 7th and 8th. Michael in 9th. Lee in 10th. Ahmad in 11th, but looking to change that soon. William down in P12. Andreas 13th. Ryan last on the grid. Andreas, we're trying to recover here. You can see he has William, Andreas has William here for company. Looks like it's going to be an overtake, trying to get done sooner rather than later. And what the heck? Andrew is round. No, who is that? Who was that? Dylan is round again. Dylan, unfortunately, I don't know if this was contact. I don't know if he got taken out. He survived the blow earlier, but now Kian in the lead. Where is Andrew? He's in second. I'm assuming there was contact between the two. Uh-oh, Williams round as well. Everybody is cracking like an egg here with the 15-minute mark. The dominoes are falling, and hopefully somebody is going to be able to pick them back up. Right now, Kian is the one that's trying to assemble this House of Lincoln logs? I don't know what we're looking at right now. But Andreas, where is he? 11th. My goodness. Made up a couple positions there, thankfully, after his mistake on lap 1. Ignacio. Vamos, Ignacio. He is absolutely flying right now. This camera angle is, well, very not that, about as useful as a speed bump on a runway, I guess you could say? I don't know. I don't got anything clever for that one. But Ignacio, though, is acknowledging the fact, or we're acknowledging the fact that he is quick. Andrew, gonna be under threat here really quick as well. Nicholas putting the pressure onto Chan Young. Look at that pack of cars. There's a bunch of buzzing bees all nip and tuck in line trying to go for their work. Nicholas, though, he's got a lot of work cut out for him as Tim is trying to negotiate round the outside of the first corner. He's going to go for an off-the-track pass even. Not going to happen. That's ambitious. Tim G, by the way, did lose that position to Tim. Wow, that is harder to say than I would have thought. Tim here, now having to look in his rearview mirror at Tim G, and Nicholas ahead, trying to look at his. So really just trying to hold on for everybody for dear life, as it seems that mistakes are the name of the game for not just our leaders tonight, but everybody in the mid-pack, everybody down towards the bottom as well. Racing's cruel. I think that's the best way of putting it. It's a tough task that we all want to do here. It's our passion. We love doing it. But my goodness, can it be frustrating. And if I'm Dylan, if I'm Ryan, if I'm Andreas, I'm not going to be too happy with myself. I mean, got to say, again, it's racing. That's what happens. And oh no, if I'm Ignacio, I'm going to be fuming. No, I just got done singing the praises of this man. Oh, and he, as I'm talking about it, cracks under the pressure himself. You hate to see it. You never want to see anybody fall down the order like that. But that's racing, folks. It's a frustrating game. And it's just the one that we choose. And of course, next week, of course, going to be trying to get back on the saddle and bring it better than ever. Ahmad here, he's on a recovery himself, getting by Lee, who had a great last race, it is to be fair. Lee, dominant, finishing in second position. I don't think Lee cares where he finishes tonight. Oh no, Kian. What's happened to Kian? Another one bites the dust. Dun 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 dun. Oh no. Kian. Is this going to be a second DNF of the night? I guess he finished race 1, but that is the look of somebody who has their hands in their head, or their head on their hands, however you want to put it. I feel for you. Kian. Genuinely, I've been there. Well, the ranks are thinning. And that's not due to, it's not really due to contact, it's just due to inconsistencies, and that's Suzuka. This track is not easy. It is a brilliant one, but it is a tough one, and with so many corners on it, that's the problem, is you're constantly turning the wheel. You really don't have a time to relax, you don't have a time for a break, and it adds up. The pressure, it mounts, eventually it boils over like a kettle set on high that you forgot about whilst you were watching Netflix. You hate to see it. Tim G, though, he doesn't. Tim G is the one probably out of everybody here tonight, so is Michael, that is just smiling. They're having a great time. Look at this. They got a battle on their hands. They're gaining positions left and right. Tim G, not with the greatest race in the previous session, but I mentioned it. Is he not really a Charlotte kind of guy? Is he not a Roval racer? And I think the answer to that was yes. My prediction reigns true. Tim G's a circuit guy. He likes the actual tracks. Not that Charlotte isn't an actual track. Let me preface that first. Charlotte is it's a great track. It's just not your traditional race track. If you know, I'm trying to undig my hole that I've already dug. Charlotte's aight, let's be honest. It's fun, though. It's a fun track. The Roval, it's just difficult. Michael, also, I think could share that sentiment. Not quite having the greatest race at Charlotte, but having a good one here at Suzuka. This is what I love about World of Racing, right? Is they pick and choose the races for the styles. I guess this is a great combination. Looking at it tonight, I was so excited coming into these calendars because of how they did. And oh my goodness, C-Trade is 100% right. What the heck? I'm blind. Chan Young, second. And as I change off the camera, Andreas gets by Lee. Nicholas in third. Nico tearing it up. Tim fourth. Again, due to consistencies, there's still 9 minutes left to go. Anything can happen in racing, folks, and it normally does, so don't go anywhere because this is going to get exciting. We know there are going to be more mistakes. That's all I'm going to say. Who's it going to be? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Ahmad and Michael dicing it up, though, for P6, and Ahmad keeps it between the lines, sends it into the first Degna, a textbook overtake. Tim and Nicholas having a little side-by-side bout themselves down into the Dunlop. Switchback attempt from Tim, side-by-side with Nicholas through 200R. It's going to fall away the corner, but he's very far ahead. In fact, there's a big wiggle the inside line, really not favoring Chan Young. No, excuse me, not favoring Nicholas. So Nicholas getting the worst of two evils there, and he's looking like he's overdriving the car now. Runs a bit deep through Spoon Curve. Keep it calm, keep it cool and collected. Don't overdrive. That's how mistakes are made. We've seen everybody pushing at that sort of 90 to 100% mark very much a lot, and I personally would like to see it about 85 right now from everyone. You just minimize your mistake risk. That's what you're looking for. Now, if you're Tim, you might not want to drive at 85. He's the one, Tim and Nicholas said they have a pass. They should be driving about 90 right now, but there's still 7.5 minutes left. I take that back. Pull it back down to 70, even less than they're at. We're going for it, though. We have 3 laps to go. Nicholas trying to send it around the outside of the first corner. It's a Lewis Hamilton on Fernando Alonso-esque pass. Is it going to stick, though? A track falling away, but it's going to turn to the inside here. If he can keep it alongside long enough. Oh, we're still side by side into the S's. Nicholas and Tim, look at this, a brilliant display of car control. Nicholas somehow holds on. What a drive. Tim applying the pressure firmer than a tourniquet. He is going to be sweating a lot right now, Nicholas, but my goodness, what a brilliant display of car control from the both. Now Tim backing off just slightly, waiting for his time to strike like a lion on the hunt in the Serengeti. He got the taste there of blood, but he didn't get to sink his teeth into the prey. Now, the question I'm asking myself is, Nicholas, is he a wounded gazelle right now? Because look at that, he's pushing so hard. He's driving more than he needs to. Again, this goes back to that overdriving sentiment where he's pushing the car more than it can get pushed. The car wiggling through 200R. He's giving it everything he has and down into Spoon. It's a dummy from Tim, but Nicholas, he bites, he tries to defend it. It's an over defense though. He runs off the circuit. How he kept this position, I have no idea. I don't think he's, oh, my Tim G. Ay, 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 that is Tim G having not a great day. Back to the battle though here. Nicholas with a run of the century into the Casio triangle. Can he get it alongside? No, he backs out. He went so far off the throttle there through 130R. Guess he sees an opportunity on another lap. I actually like this play. I was expecting more aggression. This is the passive play. Discretion being the better part of valor here. This is what you need to be a champion, and Tim displaying it. He wants to pick his moments. He knows where he's quicker. He just needs to do it. Can he do it on this lap, though? He's running out of time. We still have, give or take, 3 laps left. I think I said 3 on the previous one. I think we're going to probably about 3 more from here. Where is Andrew? Andrew is currently coming out of the S's. So yeah, looking at about 3 more laps probably. It's a lot of time. It may not sound like it, 6 minutes. But I can assure you, if you're Tim, if you're Nicholas, that clock is going to be moving in 3 times slow motion speed. It's going to be ticking away. The minutes are going to feel like hours. And Tim especially. I think he knows where he's quicker. He knows that he is quicker in general. He just can't pass. As Murray Walker once said, it's one thing to pass, or it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. And it's so true. Here at Suzuka, there aren't many opportunities, and when you get that opportunity, you have to pounce. We saw Tim try to do that into the S's and into the first corner, and it almost worked. How the heck Nicholas defended that, I genuinely do not know. Here we go again. To the outside, Tim selling that dummy. There's no way Nicholas falls for, oh goodness, Nicholas fell for it again. No, as we go, pinching the line there. Nicholas, he may have fell for the finger being put on your chest and saying you got something on your shirt, but he has a strong neck. He didn't budge. He didn't flinch. How he kept the position, I don't know, but here we go. To the inside, Chan Young's just crashed. What happened to Chan Young? Oh no, I think we're about to be approaching the scene of a crime here. Oh, and it's gonna affect the battle, but Tim's already by before we get to the braking zone. Now we have a 3-way fight for P2. Chan Young makes a mistake. It's unforced, and he is now ahead of Tim. Tim's just been chomping at the bit for the past 6 minutes. He finally passes Nicholas, and now there's another car in front of him. The thing is, Chan Young, he's going to be shaky. He's going to be just off that recovery from that spin, so maybe doubting himself a little bit. And Tim there, you can see, trying to sell that dummy again. I love this driving from Tim. He's so aggressive but passive simultaneously. Where that spoon overtake happened, he had no intention of going to the inside. He was just trying to make Nicholas think he was, and Nicholas certainly did. Let's see this again. I think we're going to see that exact same maneuver where Tim pulls to the inside of Spoon and then tries to sell the dummy onto Chan Young. Nicholas, got to be careful, making mistakes now. Oh, here we go. A little bit of a mistake through the Degna? No, nothing to be worried about there. Chan Young here is going to be sweating like a cow in a burger joint. He has the weight of the world on his shoulders right now, like the mythical Titan Atlas. Onto the loud pedal. Tim, what do you got for us? He's not close enough. Let's just be honest. He's not close enough. He's going to probably still try to send that dummy, though. Let's see. There's really no point, though. He's very far away. Now, okay. Yeah, he checks up. That's fair. If he was close enough, he probably would have, but he didn't. Bit of a wiggle from Chan Young. Is that weakness? Doesn't look like it. Tim here. Got a great view of his rival, but unfortunately he wishes he could see it in that rear view display. Nicholas 1.5 seconds off the back. He can still come into this. If these two start squabbling, he'll be there to pick up the scraps. Down into first for the Casio Triangle, and now climbing the gears once more. It's hesitation from Tim. You can't have any of that. Tim has shown ruthless, cunning decision-making and absolute brilliance this entire race. That hesitation, uncharacteristic from him. I think the tires might be playing a factor at this point. The pressure as well, of course. Ooh, offline from Chan Young, but it's also, wow, such a tight line there from Tim. He went off at the beginning, but he tightened it up quickly. Let's go back on the third person here and just watch this in awe, because this is brilliant. I want to check back, though, here, because we have a battle for P6. There's battles throughout this entire field. I'm sorry, by the way, to everybody in this race. I have not been able to show you guys because Tim G... No, sorry. Well, Tim G is battling. Imposter Tim. No! Chan Young's looped it, and he's crashed into the barrier before 130R. We just catch the moment. Tim... Well, that's P2 sealed for him, barring any mistakes now. Heck, I don't think it's sealed for anybody. Mistakes can happen for anyone now, and we clearly have seen that. Chan Young, no, he's down into 10th. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself for that one. Just overdriving the car through the S's, and as a result, and frustration is already there, Chan Young. Oh, you hate to see it. I feel for you, Chan. Definitely wish you the best on the next one, but the last lap is in fact underway. Andrew the man of the moment. This is going to be his victory for the night. And a brilliant one at that. Back-to-backs, in fact. Andrew takes home victory at Charlotte. Now, at Suzuka for round 3 of the GT3 League World of Racing. Andrew is your victor as he takes the checkered flag. Behind him, Tim, Imposter Tim H. Let's go. What a brilliant drive. A textbook showing here from Tim. He capitalized on the weaknesses of others, and he certainly delivered as a result. Nicholas takes home P3. A P4 and a P3 finish tonight for Nicholas. That is nothing to shake a stick at. He is going to be very happy with his evening. Ahmad takes home 4th. Dylan taking home 5th. Ignacio, an unfortunate 5th, but to be fair, all things considered, it could have been worse. That's not the worst recovery drive at all. Ignacio, great job. Michael taking home 7th. Tim G, one of the fan favorites, in 8th. Andreas, the other fan favorite of the night, 9th position. It's been a rough round 3 for Andreas. Charlotte didn't go his way. Suzuka didn't go his way. We're going to have to see how he does in the next race, and hopefully it's much better. Andreas, he's going to be hoping for himself as well, of course. These are disappointing results he's had, and we know he has so much more pace. He just has to keep the car facing the right direction. Lee, rounding out your top 10 with Chan Young in 11th. Man, he'll be kicking himself, but Chan Young, you got to at least give yourself a pat on the back for the drive that you had leading up to the last lap. It was brilliant. Everything was going his way until it didn't. He spun on the penultimate lap, which caught Tim up to Chan Young, and then Chan Young lost it on the final lap as well. William taking home P12 with a nice finish here for, I think this is his first race in World of Racing. I hope I'm correct on that one. And in fact, I think I am not correct on that one. My apologies. William, 60 points. He's 120 points right now. So this will be a nice little padding there for him, gaining a couple over Ryan. And Kian, missing out on quite a few points tonight. Very much unfortunately so. Let's go back to the cams here. Welcome back, folks, as we are here, of course, for the conclusion. And again, a brilliant session all the way around. Massive thank you as well to chat, by the way. Thank you very much to, we have P. Diddy Dog. Okay, great. We also have, of course, C Trade. We had Jose joining us. A massive thank you to the chatters. And Chan absolutely almost had it. But Tim, what a drive from Tim and Nico. Absolutely. And very much thank you as well to everybody joining us here, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in this fine world. We thank you for joining us here at World of Racing. We especially thank all of the drivers for taking part in the sessions here tonight. We know, of course, getting out for World of Racing, getting down to the session can be tough for these league nights, but everyone taking the time out of their day, getting down to it and going and having a load of fun. Remember, folks, that's what we're here to do. It's not about the championship. We're here to have fun. We're here to race. We're here to make mistakes. That's what we're here to do at the end of the day. I talk a lot of, I may be harsh at times on the drivers. I'm harsh because I love them. I just want you to know that. Sometimes I might say things that sound a little rude, but I mean it out of the best of my heart because I know these drivers are very good. You know, there's the thing, right? Is we have everybody from different skill levels. We have the best of the best. We have some mid sort of tier drivers, and we have people that are brand new that have never picked up the sim before. And that is why World of Racing is excellent, is we can take all of those people, put them into a session, and everybody has fun together. Because again, it's a game. It's a game. It's a simulator, yes. But it's a game, folks. Let's have some fun. And that, I think, everybody did tonight. The mistakes add to it. The mistakes add to the fun because you don't want to mess up the next time. Andreas is going to be saying the same thing. Kian especially. He needs to dial it back here for the next few races, no doubt. But on that, folks, I hope you all have enjoyed this stream. I certainly have. This was a great one. We're going to call that one here for tonight. We'll be back soon, of course, so if you guys are interested, first off, of course, if you guys are in the area of Tustin, Pasadena, or Kansas City, Kansas, head on down to World of Racing. There are plenty of fine folks down there that, whether your skill level, again, is at the beginning or it's at your expertise and you are a professional racing driver, we have something for you at World of Racing. Head on down, folks. We absolutely appreciate it. And a big thank you to everyone behind the scenes, of course, John, Ryan, everybody that makes these events possible. We thank you. And of course, a massive thank you to everyone joining us. But on that, folks, we are going to be calling it here for the night. I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.